and get started. Welcome to Yoga Flow. Of course, I'm Carrie Rice. All of you following along from home know that. But like I said, I hope that you have a couple props handy today. Blocks will be helpful. I am going to pull in a rolled blanket at the beginning of the practice today and at the end. If you have a blanket, it doesn't have to be a yoga blanket, it can just be something off the couch. A beach towel works fine too if you want to go grab something like that. If you've got one handy, great. I personally have my blanket folded in a way that's kind of a big rectangle, and then you just take one end and start rolling it up tightly like you would a sleeping bag. Now we're going to take this blanket in just a moment when we head back to our backs, and it's going to go right up your spine. So you're going to put it from the base of your spine all the way up to the back of your head. If that's still not enough, you can stick a yoga block right here underneath your head to give your head just a little bit more lift, but this is going to go right in between your shoulder blades when you lay back on your back, giving you the option to have a nice wide open chest. So take your time to go ahead and explore that prop and get it where we want it. Again, it's a blanket. All it is simply rolled. We're going to put that right up the spine so that it tracks right up the middle of your back. If it feels comfortable to go ahead and just expand your arms, let them go out wide to the side, great. If not, you want to place them hand heart, hand belly. And if this is too much for you today, maybe to start with, maybe that doesn't really feel great in your spine, you can unroll the blanket and only let it go halfway rolled. So kind of the tail hanging out, and then you've got a skinnier column, or you can just get rid of it. You don't have to use it. The idea of the blanket is a little bit of a heart opening, chest opener, which is so important. We spend a lot of our day kind of hunched over, rounded shoulders, and this just gives us a little bit more of a broad chest and more expansion to start your practice today. So today's opening intention comes from the Wisdom Cards by Louise Hay. It says, I am healthy and filled with energy. I feel the bounce in my step. I see my shining eyes. The radiant me is right here. I claim it now. I feel the bounce in my step. I see the shining eyes. I see my shining eyes. I am radiant. So think about your radiance today as we move through this yoga flow practice. See if you can feel that inner light, that love, just coming out of yourself out into the world, sharing amongst the yogis following along with you from home. So as you rest here just for a moment, just to kind of feel grounded, connected, not only to your breath, but your physical body. Let that heart expand out to the side. Maybe your legs have been long or bent. You can kind of play with that a little bit. And make sure you've taken a moment just to really connect with that breath. If you feel okay doing so, start to walk the heels of the feet up the mat. Bring the soles of the feet towards one another. Let your knees fall out and open to the sides. If arms have been out in T, maybe bring them over to hug across the body. Right hand coming over to this left shoulder, left hand kind of rounding around the belly. Switch your arms, let them go wide, and then track over, switch, left hand grabs right shoulder. A little spinal massage using this blanket today. You can even kind of sway a little bit on it. Let those arms come out. Maybe they even reach up overhead. Legs might start to stand up and expand nice and long down the mat. Take a nice long body stretch here, pointing and flexing the toes, rolling around the ankles. Rock on this bolster or on this blanket just a little bit here. Again, a little more spinal massage. And then we'll bring our right elbow next to face, bend your right knee, and just kind of fall towards the right side. Remove that blanket out from underneath your back. Just set it off to the side somewhere where it's still somewhat handy to use towards the end of our practice today. And then just come back to the center of your mat. I'm gonna bring my hands down close to hips. My heels are gonna walk in a little closer to my glutes. And I'm just gonna begin with a little bridge lift. So the hips slide up off the floor, the seat, and then lower that back down. So just a couple of those. Turning on your quad muscles. Connecting your breath with a little bit of easy movement here. Lift and lower one more time. Beautiful. Next time those hips and everything settles down your back, everything's in place. Let the right knee come in towards your chest. Point and flex the toes on that right side. Maybe even let your left leg go long. Roll around your head. Massage the back of the skull into the earth. And then switch sides. Opposite knee comes into belly. Opposite leg goes long. Point and flex. Roll ankles. Point and flex. Toes. Everything gets a chance to kind of open here. And then go back to both knees towards your belly or towards your chest. Rock around on the lowest part of the spine. Inhale to straighten the legs up over us. Arms go overhead. Exhale, bend the knees. Hands slide onto either sides of the hips. Just warming up that core with a couple breaths here. Turning on a little bit of internal heat if that feels good this morning. Obviously, this class is taking place live on a Saturday morning. We're bringing in a little bit of energy right away. Connecting with those core muscles because they're so essential and we're going to be using them a little bit today. Last one, bend those knees, hands slide on either sides of the hips, and then just kind of hug this in, rock around. When you feel ready, you're gonna roll yourself to either your right hand side and press into the earth, or you can kind of rock and roll and bring yourself up to a nice tall seated spine. I'm going to switch just so I can see you, but find yourself in a seat if that works. And we're just going to start by rolling our chest around in a nice big circle. So you're welcome to reach for that blanket. You can stick the blanket under the tip of your tail. Sometimes that's a nice little support. But just let things kind of roll around here. All right, we're gonna bring our arms into this next. So the next time that you roll all the way to your right side, stick your right hand out to the side, reach your left hand up and over your head. Now this left hand that's in the sky is gonna come down towards this right knee, and then it's gonna sweep along with both of your hands all the way over to the other side, and then you'll just open back up. Hand comes down, sweep it all the way out in front, reach, 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 and then open it back up. Feel that side body connect. So now we're out in front again, and then we reach back up. Last one. Reach back up. Beautiful. We got to finish off. We started on the other side, so we got to finish off. Perfect. Bring yourself up to a nice tall spine, hands out to the side. We're going to go ahead and just move right into table. So let your wrists come under shoulders, knees come under hips. Again, you've got that blanket handy. So if you want to reach for the blanket, place it underneath your knees, feel free. If your outer edges of the hips feel a little tense today, you can rock this a little bit easy right and left. You can even sway a little bit, put some weight into your wrists, and then back towards your heels. Just keep breathing. One more round. All right, right, next time your hips are on your heels, go ahead and stay there. You've got a blanket handy, so if it feels good, you can always reach for that blanket, place it right across the heels to give yourself something else to sit on. Your knees can be wide on the mat or a little bit closer. And then just start to walk your hands towards your left edge of the mat. Reach off to that left side. Surrender to the floor as the right side body begins to open. Hands taking their time, they'll walk back through center, and then we'll reach them off to the right edge of the mat. Hands taking time, they'll walk back to the center of the mat. Bring it up, tabletop. If you've had that blanket on your heels, you might sweep it off to the side. Find yourself in a table to invite in that flexion spine. So your cat-cow, belly dropping on your inhale, back rounding on your exhale. So just take your time, very basic. This shape shows up in almost all of our yoga classes, whether it's done seated or standing, or even on our hands and knees like this. We're flexing that spine, letting it move forward and back, concave, convex. One more breath, belly drops. Back rounds. All right, from here, let's open up your first down dog. So toes curl under, hips lift up. Maybe a nice bend in the knees as you push your hips back towards the wall behind you. Think about your fingertips spreading as wide as possible, big puppy paws, and then just walk this out. So you've got the right heel down towards the ground, left heel down towards the ground. Just take your time, bending those knees, getting comfortable through your wrists. Beautiful. Right knee drops down towards the ground. Left leg extends long behind. Exhale, breath, left knee towards your chest, round the back. Send it out long. Drop the toes down. Downward dog. Switch sides. Left knee drops. Right leg long. Bring it in. Round the spine. Send it long. Leg drops down. Toes curl under. Downward dog. Let's do it again. Other side. Right knee drops. Left leg lifts. Pull it in. Send it out. Foot comes down. Lift hips. Down dog. Other side. Left knee drops. Right foot lifts. Pull it in. Send it out. Toes down. Downward facing dog. Walk it out. Good work. Shifting from this down dog to your first plank pose, putting some weight into those hands. Drop into that solid plank. One more breath. Hips lift up high. Good work. Small steps with feet. Walk forward. Hang in your first forward fold. Head is heavy. Feel free to use a set of blocks if they're handy. All right, start to feel kind of some magic, some opening of your backside body here. Inhale, breath opens up halfway. Exhale down. Place those feet on the earth. Big inhale, reach and look. Gaze up at the ceiling. Exhale, hands down into your heart. Letting those hands come behind the back. If they're comfortable, perhaps laced. Feel free. And then just play with your neck here a little bit. It's soft. That's something you need to watch here is your pelvis. Make sure you're not sticking your tush back out behind you or pulling this too far underneath. We'd like it to be a nice, comfortable, stable place. All right, beautiful. Inhale, breath, break those hands away. Reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back towards the back of the mat. Drop that right knee down. Keep the left knee bent and hands move up. Left knee is forward, left hand falls, right hand reaches over top. Get a nice side body stretch. This hand can, of course, be sitting on a block or just kind of hanging in space. Beautiful. Bring both hands back up tall. Exhale, just let them sweep down by your hips and turn back into that same laced fingers. Stay here. One breath. Inhale, break fingers apart. Sweep them back up towards the sky. Exhale, send them forward. Look for blocks or floor. Toes curl under on back leg. Lift the knee. Hold the lunge. Left foot is forward, so your right hand or right block comes in towards that foot as we open for your first twist. Take your time. Back knee can always drop to the earth if this feels too big. One more breath. Hand in the sky, circles down, bring it towards the earth. Step back, take your first, or another downward dog rather. You already played there once. Shifting down dog to plank pose. And then back up to that down dog. Now that can rotate back and forth from your knees, or you can be in a full down dog to plank, working on a little strength today. Push through those heels, keep that core tight. Belly lifts back up, down dog. Small steps. When you feel ready, walk back up here. Join the front of your mat. Get that big forward fold again. Feel the magic up the backs of your legs. Bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, half lift. Open up halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant the feet. Big inhale. Hands are up. Back to the heart. Let the hands settle again behind your back. Placing fingers. I'm going to turn just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I want you to bring your hands to your right hip. And then let your right ear fall to that right shoulder. Hands go out behind. Let's go the other way. Again, watching that pelvis. Trying our best not to stick it out. Pull it too far under. Hands come back to center. Big inhale. Let them reach up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back. Left knee drops to ground. Hands sweep up. Big inhale. Exhale, just let them drop. Easy by the hips. Lace again behind the back. Heart opens. Now, if this is starting to irritate a shoulder, remember your hands can always be a little softer. They can always go to your hips. They don't have to be as laced. Drop those shoulders down from ears. Big inhale, hands reach. Send it back to earth. Curl the toes under. Lift that back knee. Right foot is forward, so left hand comes in a little closer to that front foot. Insert your twist. Reaching up with the hands. Back knee can always drop to the ground if need be. Taking hand that's in the sky, circle it forward towards the mat. Let the hands find earth, step back, big down dog, shift back and forth, down dog planks again. Remembering that when we plank, we're aiming to put those shoulders and wrists right in a line. We're aiming not to drop the small of our back. We're aiming to keep energy back through our heels, keep the legs involved. One more breath. Beautiful, hips lift up nice and high. Go ahead and drop to knees. Give me about 3 breaths in a child's pose. Hips sitting back on heels. Sorry, the screen was saying something weird. I was trying to make sure I didn't lose anybody. All right, beautiful. From that child's pose, you got a little freebie, a little breath there. Start to bring yourself back up, and let's head to the front of your mat. So small steps, a big leap, whatever feels more like your practice. Maybe you roll up one vertebra at a time, or you take that same half lift we've been playing with. Let the hands settle in and find your heart. Shoulders lift towards your ears, and then just gently relax them down the back, down the spine. Right foot steps straight back. Turn the right heel so it touches the earth. And then just start to straighten that front leg. We're looking for more of a pyramid leg. So for me, I'm going to make sure that my right foot comes out a little bit closer to the right edge of my mat, and my left leg, we're kind of windshield, or what am I trying to say, railroad track with my legs. Now with that railroad track, I'm going to send my arms to kind of match that just for a moment. So when I'm here, I'm trying to keep my core pulled in. I'm engaging this front quad, lifting that kneecap, and just giving my arms a little sweep. So you should feel a little bit of work on the side body, a little bit of work through those obliques, maybe in your shoulders, maybe in your triceps. One more breath. All right, let both arms meet out in front. Hinge at your hips. Maybe a soft bend as you start to fold slightly forward. If you have a set of blocks, they're handy, they can go here. If you don't have a set of blocks, it's okay. You can stop with hands above this kneecap here. You can bring them back and put them on your hips. You can lace them behind your back, or you can just kind of let them fall in space. Staying here for another round of breath. This is really big for the calf. You should feel it probably through the hamstring, maybe the IT band. Make sure that back foot can stay grounded. All right, now this is where we're going to add a little bit of balance. So this front leg is going to start to soften and then straighten. One more time, soften and then straighten. Now the next time it softens, we're going to put some weight into it. So hands might go to the floor, might go to a block, might just kind of hang out in space. You can even reach them forward. Now start to bring that back foot back down, place the heel into the earth, go back into that pyramid. One more breath. All right, 2 softens, soften, straighten, soften, straighten. Next time you soften, let's put some weight into that front foot again. Lift into a balance pose. Now, if you notice, the back toes on my back lifted leg are shining down towards the floor. I have not opened my hip like I would in half moon. One more breath. Drop that back leg down to the ground, put the heel back into the earth, and then just start to peel back up from that pyramid pose. Arms immediately just shifting right back in to our sweep. Beautiful. All right, when you feel ready, soften that front knee. And we're just going to step into it like our balance we were just doing, but you're going to take this back leg and send it out in front. Hold, maybe hands out to the side. You might flex the toes, you might point the toes, you might move back and forth. You might even bend the knee. One more breath. All right, settle that foot down. Inhale, reach high. We're just going to take a half sun salutation. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. You know the drill. Exhale, fold. Take your time. Inhale, reach it back up. Let the hands settle down into your heart. Left foot steps back. We start looking for pyramid on this side. So just as we did before, we start kind of widening the stance, getting ourselves in a space that feels good in our own bodies. So even if what I'm describing to you, you're like, nope, my knee doesn't like that, my hips don't square that way, make adjustments. Decide, maybe your foot needs to be turned out. Maybe it needs to be walked in closer. You decide what fits your body. Pull that core in, lift through your heart, and then start sweeping those arms again. Now, obviously, one way we're gonna move a little healthier than the other. When this hand comes back, it probably feels like it gets stuck. But when it goes forward, it's got lots of freedom. That's normal, expected. Yes, big exhale when you sweep those arms. Really let go of some stuff here. All right, beautiful. Next time both hands are forward, keep them there. Start to reach out over that hip crease and then hinge down towards the blocks or the earth. You're taking that same pyramid shape. So take your time. This is a big one. So if this knee ever needs to get a little micro bend in it to feel safe through this hamstring, that's okay. Watch your head. You're going to have the tendency to want to do this with a big rounded spine, and there is a place for that. And it's okay if that doesn't bother your back. But a lot of times we need to keep a little bit of space between our chin and our chest. All right, friends, start to soften. Soften that front knee. And then let it go straight again. One more time, soften. Now start thinking about balance. So I've softened that knee, and I know next time I go forward, I gotta release this back one up off the earth. A set of blocks, again, like I said, is always helpful, but if the hands wanna go down towards the earth, or even turn this into more of a standing splits and grab onto that standing leg, feel free. Set that foot back down. Pyramid, soften, pyramid, soften, and then let's take flight one more time. Hips are square. Beautiful. All right, start to bring that foot down. This time, when you soften through the middle, you're going to sweep this leg all the way out in front. So starting to kind of climb up the leg, sweep it out. Maybe it goes to lifted toes or bent knee. Hands can be out or at the heart. Play with that balance, one more breath. And then just start to settle it back. Half sun salutation, just to work out anything hiding in those hip flexors. Let it be big. Hinge and fold. Half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach and look. Send those hands up high. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, beautiful. Grab some breath here. Nice tall spine. Head lifting up towards the ceiling. All right, as you feel ready, we're going to step wide on our mats. So decide which direction feels best to step wide. I had a set of blocks I was working with. I'm going to take one block and put it at each end of my mat so that it's handy as I turn from side to side. Let yourself just kind of have a little bit of space here. Both things we just did with that pyramid really made the hips have to cooperate. So we're just going to kind of play here for a moment. So feel free to kind of move around on your mat a little bit. The next practice is going to be through triangle pose. So when you feel ready, we're going to turn our left toes towards the edge of the mat. Your back foot can do a couple different things. Some people like to keep it parallel with the back of the mat. Others like to give it just a slight inward turn to kind of turn this hip. You decide what feels best for your pelvis as you start to lean forward over this front hip. So you're going to have a chance to kind of play here for a moment because your arms are going to go to T, and then you're just going to tip back and forth. So we're really going to play with our oblique muscles for a few moments here, leaning in and then setting back up. So just take your time, breathe with that space, leaning in, setting back up, leaning in and setting back up. Watch your shoulders. If this becomes too much, your hands can always soften to something that looks more like a kind of a lotus lean, lotus hands. One more time. Next time you lean forward with that hand, go ahead and start to tip. Send it down. Maybe you look for that block you put towards the front of your mat. It can be on its tallest side. Check your belly, check your hip, and then see how the shoulder feels. Maybe the hand can even reach up as if to stack the lifted hand on top of this hand that's on the block. Give it one more round of breath, and then send this hand overhead, bicep down towards ear. Beautiful. Gosh, that side body is really opening up. Feel that stretch. Send the hand slowly down towards the ground. Soften this knee, and then bring yourself up. Look for warrior two. Front hand flips, lean away from that bent knee, warrior dance. Exhale, up and over, find the side angle. You've got a block here if you want to take the hand to the block. A nice good bend in this front knee. Hand again near the front of the mat, bicep by ear. Inhale, let's come up from that. Beautiful work. Softening, straightening, turning those toes, your back at center. Hands move behind the back. Maybe they clasp. Heart opens. Beautiful. Start to turn the toes, loosen the grip in your hands, and start thinking again about our triangle shape on the other side. So just check your alignment. Maybe that foot's parallel again, or maybe it's got a slight inward turn. Check the belly. Arms go wide. And then there's your obliques again. Now you'll know you're not using your obliques when you turn this chest and you're kind of leaning like this. Nothing's gonna be happening in the obliques if our chest is turned to the side. So really try, or turn to the front rather, really try to kind of slide along the wall and you'll feel it. If you don't, put your hands on your belly. Let them connect. Let them talk to you. I don't know about you guys, but I find that the obliques are tricky as we age. They don't quite kick in as regularly as we'd like them to. So we're trying to remind them, we still love them. We still want them. We need them strong for us, for our posture, for our balance, to keep a healthy back, and to support all other muscles of our core. Next time you lean forward, let's tip. So I'm kind of hyperextending my front knee. I can feel it. So I'm going to like kind of micro bend that just for a moment to remind my knee that I want it healthy and safe. So I'm going to take care of it. Maybe your hand kind of slides across your belly just to remind your hips to stay open. Turn to the side and then watch your neck. As I stare at the screen trying to talk to you, I can feel my neck getting tense. If you can feel your neck getting tense, talk to it. Tell it to relax. So even though my hand's on a block down here, I'm trying my best not to collapse into that block. I want to lift up out of it. Top hand, maybe bicep comes by ear. Oh, beautiful. Side body says, yes, please. Big circle, softening that knee when your hand gets close. Warrior two, flip and reverse. Maybe changing this back foot if it feels kind of out of sorts there. Elbow towards knee, or maybe you reach for that block again, bicep towards ear. Put a big smile on your face as you reach and add length to your side wall. Breathe, ladies and gentlemen. Let's let that side body have some space, and then we're back up to warrior two again. Feet turn to the side, hands drop down. Maybe you get a shoulder roll. Maybe your hands lace. You can stay right here. You can hinge at the hip crease and fold down through the middle. You can let your hands stay laced. You can let them slide down the legs. You've got blocks. You can put those on your mat. Surrender that breath down to the ground. Really let these inner thighs have a space. Let your outer hips, turn your toes in if that feels good. Turn them out, sweep side to side. You've got freedom here, so yes, take your time. Trust that your body knows the poses it wants. Trust that you don't always have to watch the screen, that you can just feel what should make sense next. I'm going to give you a little bit of space for that. What makes sense next? So some of you are just kind of chilling, just hanging there in the middle. That works. Some of you have started to add some movement. I can see you're kind of swaying here side to side. Some have come out of this shape. It's too big. You're walking your feet in a little closer. That's okay too. Decide what feels good to you. 2 more breaths. All right, friends, if you have not taken those feet in a step or two, go ahead and let them come a little closer. Turn your heels to find one another. So they're kind of just turning in the general direction of each other. Start to lift the chest up, and you're going to settle in to a nice wide-legged, toes turned out, kind of goddess. Now, the arms that we're going to do next, I want you to imagine these are floating right along the wall. This is sometimes called a wall angel, kind of like a snow angel, and you stand up against the wall and you do this shape. If you want to move from your mat and put yourself on a wall to do this shape, you certainly can. It'll help with balance, especially if you feel very, very wobbly right now, but there's no problem with just staying right where you are. But just remember that's an option. So maybe later if the shoulders feel tense, or later in the week, you can do this with straight hand or straight legs even, and just go stand up against your wall and just slide your hands. So if you notice, they're kind of touching above my head, and then I'm going to a W shape. Yes. All the while your legs are fired up. Yeah? Woo! 1 more breath. Start to straighten those knees, but let the wall angel work. So the legs straighten. Last one. When you hit that W, pause. Stay there. Start to turn your toes so that they face the same direction. And then just soften those arms, big shoulder roll. 1 shoulder at a time, or both together. All right, friends, start to step towards the front of your mat. If you're like me and you got a set of blocks kind of in the way here, just set them about midway down your mat and then step up here to the front. We put them midway so then when we end up on our backs, they're going to be really accessible. Another thing while you're standing, if your blanket, your rolled blanket is not close enough to where you'll be able to grab it when you're sitting on the ground, go ahead and look for that. If you unrolled your blanket, it's okay. Just put your blanket close to your mat and we can roll it up later. Not a big deal. Put yourself up at the top. Inhale, breath, strong up. Exhale, breath, strong down, fold. Hang in your forward fold, 3 breaths. Maybe hands move into ragdoll shape. Maybe they reach around the edge of that foot, or they walk over to the edge of the other foot. Maybe they clasp behind the legs. Lots of options. 1 more breath. Let the hands plant and begin to walk your feet backwards. Last down dog here. Walk that out. Shift this down dog forward to plank. If you're feeling strong today, right hand stays planted. Lift the left hand, touch your right shoulder, place it back. Lift the right hand, touch your left shoulder, place it back. If that doesn't work for you, but maybe you can stomp your feet. Maybe you pick one foot up and then the other, or you drop to your knees and you do the taps on your knees. One more breath. Beautiful. Knees drop into earth, toenails touch the ground, hips sit back towards heels, child's pose. You've got a handy block, so maybe it moves to the middle of the mat, perhaps going underneath forehead, or maybe under the arms. Let's hear those exhales. So the inhale is full and strong and lengthy through the nose, but maybe you're even sighing a little breath out through your mouth. Let it go. Anything that's no longer serving you is done. Send it out. We don't need it anymore. We are radiant, beautiful, healthy beings that have energy and sparkle and shine. One more big, beautiful breath in through the nose, and then just sigh it away. Excellent. Start to come up towards hands and knees. Cat-cow. Belly drops down, inhale, breath. Back rounds. One more time, belly drops down. And then back rounds. Right knee comes forward towards right wrist. Left knee towards left wrist. I'm kind of crisscrossing at my ankles. If it feels okay, just kind of roll right over those ankles and come to your seat. When you build this tall seat, you can always look for that rolled blanket. You can place it just right underneath the tip of your tail. Right leg goes long down your mat. Left knee is bent and then turn slightly outward. Inhale, spine is tall. Exhale, hinge and fold. Bringing a block forward if you need it. Give yourself a little bit more help. Stay within this space, 2 more breaths. Inhale, breath, start to bring the chest back up. Stand this knee up that's been out to the side, maybe give it a good hug. If the hip feels a little tight, you can even hug around that knee, maybe grab the foot. Give it a little bit of rocking here. It might even feel nice to take this foot and step it over and across that long leg. Maybe your spine gets tall and you just hang out here for a moment, or perhaps you even twist into the direction of that bent knee. So notice my chest is going towards my bent knee. Beautiful. Just gorgeous. Start to unwind from that. That foot come across, send it along. Opposite knee comes in just as you did before. Feel the radiance, let that knee drop out. Yes, so you'll notice when you have something underneath your tail, you just naturally kind of hinge. It really does assist in making sure that you are always hinging at that hip crease. Maybe you bring a block in, just for a little extra. You hinge forward and hold. All right, inhale breath, start to peel up from that shape. Yes, stand this knee back up, give it a hug. Maybe even wrap around the outer edge, grab a hold with your hand on the bottom of the foot. Remembering that this foot can step over and across. You can just stay right here. Sometimes it's enough of a hip stretch for us. We don't need the twist. If you want to take the twist, your chest is going in the direction of that bent knee. You're keeping your spine long. Crown lifts, eyes might even close. Beautiful, unwind from that. Taking one more seated fold here. If you've got this blanket still underneath your tail, great. Lift your hips up tall and hinge to fold forward 2 straight legs. You can reach for a block or both blocks. Let them kind of hang here somewhere. Sometimes it's nice to even catch the chest. Some of us who feel like we're rounding a little bit too much in the spine, we can kind of turn this into more of a restorative shape. Wherever you want to be here, give yourself one more breath. All right, inhale, lift the chest slowly back up. Now I'm gonna give you a couple options for the next pose. If you are not already seated up on your rolled blanket, go find it. So go grab your blanket, roll it up, put it underneath your seat. Now those of us, actually not underneath your seat, those of us who are sitting on it, we're gonna pull it just below the seat. Maybe give it another quick roll if it came undone. And when we lay back, we're gonna want it like right in the small of our back, okay? So just slowly start to roll back over this rolled bolster. Some of us, it's gonna feel really awesome with straight legs. Others of you, you're gonna choose to want to use bent knees. Now, if your back is kind of a mixture between relief and kind of a dull pain, you need to decide, is that really pain or is that a soft stretch? If it's pain, you can adjust this. One easy way to adjust this is to lift the hips, slide a block, and now put it underneath your bum. So you've got low back support and bum support. So it's a little less pressure on the low back and more of like a gentle inversion. If that still doesn't fix it, or it just kind of moves the pain to somewhere else, you can obviously remove the blanket and not use it at all. If you feel okay with that slight stretch at the low back, letting your legs go long, maybe even lifting your arms up overhead, feel free to take a nice long body here. If you recall our wall angel that we did before, you can let your arms come to somewhere in that shape. Bent elbows, W, see where it feels good. They can move and slide on the floor here, or they can just find a spot and stay still. Now, deciding what you want to do next, you can certainly stay right where you are, or you can follow a little advice, bend the knees and kind of roll just to one side. I'm going to take my blanket now and move it up to about where my shoulder blades are going to hit the mat. So I'm just moving up my spine. Put it right at the shoulder blades. Let the arms spread out to the side. My head kind of now feels almost like a little bit of a fish pose, where my neck My throat chakra can open up, my chin can lift towards ceiling, arms can go wide. Again, you can have bent legs, long legs. You can even take maybe bound angle if the hips want a little more stretch. If this feels like a lot of pressure underneath the back of your head, you can of course reach for an additional blanket or a block to put underneath your head. We're just kind of blocking up the spine. So we went from the lowest part to now the middle part, and then we'll finish off moving this rolled blanket up underneath your neck. So all the shoulder work today, all the chest opening, heart opening work that we did today, giving it kind of a little finale here as we start to settle everything back towards the earth. If your knees have been out, maybe open to the side, perhaps you stand them up to the ceiling. You can let them kind of rock-a-bye side to side, taking kind of a windshield wipering motion. Maybe that feels good. You might even find yourself embracing a twist for a moment. And then when you feel ready, depending on where you are in this spine work with your blanket, it might feel good to roll all the way to one side and then just give this blanket one more final movement up higher on the mat. So now my blanket is serving like a neck pillow. Oh, so when it's there, maybe now that low back really kisses the earth. If it's not, you might need constructive rest. You might need to bend your knees and then let your knees kind of fall into one another. If you're ready for Savasana, here it is. You can have it. You can go right into that final pose, deciding what you want to do with your legs, maybe reaching for additional blocks or bolsters if you want those, perhaps supporting behind the kneecaps. That's a great place for them. If there's other poses the body's still asking for, we've been upside down quite a bit in our down dogs today and forward folds, but if you want to lift your feet up above your head or any other additional poses, now that the blanket's behind your neck, you're okay with some more movement. So if you need that, of course you can have it, but from the looks of it, most of us on screen are ready to just let it all sift back into place. So if the music you've been listening to is not quite soft enough for you, maybe hitting pause so that you might just close your eyes and be right here. Not moving forward to the future or even looking back at the past. You're just right here. Quiet and steady on your mat. Slowly starting to add a little gentle movement back into your body. These might be very simple movements, bending the knees, wiggling the toes, opening and closing the hands, maybe even rocking around on the mat, hugging the knees towards your chest, ultimately rolling to rest on one side, maybe using that rolled blanket as a pillow. Embracing a little peaceful savasana, a little peaceful side lying. Before returning back up to your seat and helping me close out today's class. Once you find yourself back at seat, close the eyes, bring the hands to the heart, maybe even pressing the thumbs in tightly towards the chest. I am healthy and filled with energy. I feel the bounce in my step. I see my shining eyes. The radiant me is right here. I claim it now. I greatly appreciate you taking this time to find your radiance, to claim it, and let it be the start you need to your day. May you have a wonderful rest of the day. It's truly an honor to practice with you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much.